My name is LIM WEN LIANG. My metric number is 2619338. Now I'm going to present the first question. So the movie that we choose is The Joker, which is a psychological horror movie directed by Todd Phillips. The question has been answered after analyzing the depiction of psychological issue from main character, which called Arthur Fleck in the movie. So now we'll start with describing the psychological issue in this movie. First of all, we can see that Arthur has attended therapy session for a long time, and during the session he has described his complaint as loneliness, isolation, and persistent negative thought. He also liked to imagine himself getting everyone's attention. For example, like imagine himself being on a television show and imagine himself being date with his neighbor Sophie. A series of successive events eventually was the psychological issue of the main character, which made him kill 3 men on the subway train who had bullied him. There are 2 main reasons cause psychological issue on the main character. The first one is Suzububa effect caused by serious injury on his head when he is young. Second one is he is living in a bad environment full of crime, unemployment, and poverty. After analyzing the symptoms of the psychological issue on main character, we have found that they have 2 types of personality disorder, which is narcissistic and antisocial. So the narcissistic personality disorder shows individuals who make themselves the main focus, and they have 3 symptoms shown in the movie, such as like to get praise, always think about success, and believe they are unique. So diagnosing narcissistic personality disorder must meet at least 5 criteria based on DSM 5th edition. So from this table we can see main character have meet 5 criteria, which show that he has narcissistic personality disorder. The second one is antisocial personality disorder, which shows individuals who have failed to follow the rules. So there are 5 symptoms shown in the movie, such as disobeying social norms, doing illegal things, and others. For the second type of diagnosis, we cannot confirm that he has antisocial personality disorder. This is because we did not have evidence that he conduct disorder by age 15, although he has met more than 3 criteria based on the DSM 5th edition. So they have no known medication for both personality disorder. However, the main treatment is psychotherapy. For narcissistic can help them to understand their behavior and responsibility, and antisocial can help them improve anger management.
I am FELICIA TEOH, matrix number 26207. People who suffer from the narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, they adore and idealize grandiose version of themselves. They create dreams of their limitless power, limitless beauty to make them feel exceptional. And also, they're very highly sensitive and respond negatively to little critics and arguments, especially from someone who are very confident. And also for the antisocial lifestyle, they frequently face legal issues as a result of failures to follow social standards and a disregard for the rights of others. But also they feeling no regret and guilt to their related crime. The impacts of the narcissistic personality disorder for themselves is they can have a negative impact on social interaction, and they don't have the ability to maintain or begin a relationship, and decreased performance at work or school, and a lack of meaningful interaction because of disrespectful attitude to others. And also there is a term of narcissistic victim syndrome that refers to a group of people that occurs as a result of narcissistic abuse, which involves both emotional manipulation and abusive behavior by the people of narcissistic personality disorder. And also for the antisocial, has a substantial negative impact on both individuals and society, and a person who engage in activities may lose the educational or employment chance, and it may lead to the antisocial adult behavior, which are the substance abuse and criminal activities, and it lead to the legal penalties. And these all crimes will make them it's a huge burden to their family, and because they don't like the social, so they don't have many friends, and it will cause conflict. The factors that cause the author to live with this psychological disorder is because he was subjected to severe abuse youngster by his mother that caused head injury, and also he has a family history of psychiatric disorders. His mother has a delusional disorder and also
My name is Wong Yang, and I'll be talking about the 3 theories in psychology in the movie Joker. So here, I'll be talking about the narcissistic personality disorder, schizophrenia, and trauma disorder. In narcissistic personality disorder, they have some symptoms such as need for admiration, and usually these people with this type of personality disorder, they will have lack of empathy, and these were happening beginning by early adulthood. In the movie, Arthur often imagined himself on the Murray Franklin shows and receiving a lot of admirations from the audience. However, it is not true. It is not the reality. Typically, people with narcissistic personality disorder will tend to be furious when others not agree with them. So in the other pictures showing that Arthur is killing the Murray, this happens because when Arthur is telling a joke that he found is very funny, but Murray like oppositing him, is saying that, oh, it is not a good joke and everyone is not funny at all. And he gets angry, and that's why he kills the Murray. The next theory is schizophrenia, where the symptoms include hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized speech. In the movie Joker, the main character Arthur Fleck shows the signs of schizophrenia, as in a lot of scenes he is with a single mother named Sophie, a neighbor of him. However, those scenes that Arthur is blending close with her, talking to each other, hanging out together is all not true. It is not reality. It is just delusions of Arthur being very good with her. However, as for Sophie, Arthur is just merely a neighbor to her. The last theory is the trauma disorder, which is commonly known as post-traumatic stress disorder, which it can be developed on individuals who have some bad experience such as death threats or near-death experience, maybe during their childhoods. And these will remind them of these bad experiences through flashbacks, nightmares, intrusive thoughts, and subtle reactions. In the movie, Arthur had a very bad childhood experience. And I remember what he said in the movie. He said, "I just don't want to feel bad anymore," which can be interpreted that Arthur doesn't want to think of how bad he was during his childhood. And that's all from me. Thank you.
We have carried out some understanding and classification of the character in the movie Joker by using B5 personality traits. The B5 personality traits are the 5 aspects of personality traits that describe the most advanced organization in modern psychology. These 5 personality traits constitute the main character of a person. The 5 personality traits are openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The protagonist of the flag is a very complicated character in the movie. So what is the type of personality of this character have? First, Arthur shows a high in extroversion in the movie. His extroversion reflects on his job, a clown. The clown is someone who needs to contact the outside world. And Arthur also tends to be willing to communicate with others. The scene in the movie such as making children laugh on the bus, fantasizing about interacting with his idol Murray in the show, and wanting to be a talk show comedian who can make others laugh, all show that Arthur is an extrovert people. Arthur also shows high neuroticism in the movie. 2 quotes which written by Arthur in the journal in the film. In the movie, "I just hope my death makes more sense than my life," and "The worst part of having a mental illness is that people will expect you to behave as if you don't," show that Arthur is a depressed person. Arthur also saw a violent side in the movie, such as the scene in the movie where he was kicked the garbage dump on the corner after being counted by his boss. Later, Arthur showed a crazy character. In the movie, he killed a total of 8 people including his mother, and ended up in a mental hospital. Lastly, Arthur showed a high in openness to experience. In the movie, Arthur showed his rich fantasy, such as fantasy and intimate communication with his idol Murray, fantasy love relationship, fantasy the success of talk show, and fantasy psychology counseling. In the movie, Arthur killed 3 people on the subway and finally killed Murray on the show, which caused the entire Gotham City to fall into chaos. It showed that Arthur ignored the rules of the civilized world and was destroying or overthrowing such rules and orders.
This part will introduce the living applied in the movie, The Joker. The first is cognitive learning. Cognitive learning is applied in Arthur's life. Arthur dreams to become a stand-up comedian and his idol is Murray Franklin. He will watch Murray Franklin talk show every night to learn how Murray is having his comedy and making laugh to the audience. And Arthur also go to the bar and see other comedians and jot down the tips that the comedians will do to make it the audience laughing. And here is the example. He jot down the 3 tips of the other comedian where the comedian is successfully making the audience laughing. The second is operational conditioning. Operational conditioning also apply in this movie and it's applied in the middle scenes of the movie. Arthur is getting fired by his boss and he get into a subway after he lost his job. However, he been bullied by 3 young elites. And then he take off his gun, which is given by his ex-colleague, and shoot the 3 of them. After shooting, he feel happy, although he run away to his house, but he feel happy and dancing. And also, Marie, which is Arthur's idol, playing his video in his talk show and make fun of him. And Marie also invite Arthur to his shows to continue make fun of him. So Arthur get into the show and shoot Marie, but he never feel guilty because he feel happy he shoot someone who bully him, who ignore him, frame him. The last learning is classical conditioning. Arthur having a condition which is he has an uncontrolled laughing due to his head trauma, and he laughed inside the bus suddenly, and the lady in front of him turned his head and turned around and see Arthur. And although Arthur telling her what his conditioning, but the lady hide his son quickly, and because he connect sudden laugh equal to freak equal to dangerous, so she's doing that.
Good day to doctor and everyone. My name is Lim Super. My metric number is 261699. I'm going to continue for question F. Identify and explain both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation types found from this movie. Intrinsic motivation is a strong desire to achieve self-satisfaction and a sense of duty to attain the set goals without being affected by incentives or rewards. While extrinsic motivation is a type of motivation that comes from the outside and the goal is achieved in the presence of external rewards or incentives, such as appreciation, money, and so on. Maslow's hierarchy of needs corresponds to both extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation matches with the safety needs, whereas intrinsic motivation matches with the esteem and self-actualization needs in the hierarchy. One of the intrinsic motivation that can be found in this movie is Arthur wanted to become a famous comedian because he is interested in his career. This can be shown when Arthur made some notes on his journal pages about what he considers to be jokes. The next intrinsic motivation is Arthur killed the 3 drowned Wayne Enterprises businessmen on the subway after being bitten by them. Arthur will get pleasure or some type of reward by killing those who have bullied or done awful things to him. Arthur also criticized Murray Franklin for making fun of him on the previous segment and shot Murray in the head on live television. He felt joyful and gained some enjoyment and pleasure by doing this to them. Another intrinsic motivation is Arthur really wanted to know who his father is. This can be shown when Arthur said this to Wayne that he did not want anything from Wayne but just a little warmth, a hug, or just a bit of common decency. Besides, One of the extrinsic motivations that can be found in this movie is Arthur always try to be happy and put a smile on his face, as been told by his mother Penny, who wanted and thought that Arthur is a happy guy. Besides, Arthur works as a clown instead of an aspiring comedian to earn a living and feed his physically and mentally ill mother Penny back. Arthur also consulted on his psychiatrist or social worker about his problem to get treatment and medicines, although he felt that the social worker did not pay attention to him and merely asked the same questions over and over again. Another extrinsic motivation that can be found in this movie is when Arthur snatched Penny's file of a document at Upland State Hospital to prove Finn's claim that he's not his son. He snatched it because he's not permitted to know any more details because it is confidential. Besides, when Randall and Gary went to visit Arthur, Randall asked Arthur not to tell about giving him a gun before under the excuse of the visit instead of a sincere visit to Arthur due to his job loss. That's all from my group. Thank you very much for listening.